Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Chef Sue, and in this video I have 10 well detailed and amazing snack recipes for you. These recipes are very well detailed with exact measurements. Want to learn how to make these snacks for you or your family, or you want to start a business, or you just want to have fun making something new, trying out a new recipe? This video is definitely for you. So sit back, relax and watch, and let's get started. Let's start with this crunchy egg rolls, shall we? Start by boiling your eggs. I'll use 6 eggs for this recipe. Boil your eggs however you want to. Either add your eggs to the boiling water or do it this way. I hear adding your eggs to the boiling water is a better way to boil eggs. Cook for 12 to 15 minutes max. Please don't overcook your eggs. After boiling, transfer to a bowl with cold water. This makes peeling of the shell easier. After 5 minutes, peel your eggs. I like to peel mine under running water. It comes off easily that way. To your eggs, however the quantity, sprinkle some flour over them. Make sure they are all well covered with flour. Set aside and start with the dough. To a bowl, add in 2.5 cups of sifted flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 cup of powdered milk, and mix all together. You can decide to add half a teaspoon of nutmeg or cinnamon for more flavor if you'd like. Add 2 tablespoons of butter and mix all together. Make sure you mix very well. Whisk in 1 egg and add to your dry ingredients. You want to add your water in batches. Add half cup of water for a more crunchy dough, or if you want it really soft and smooth, add 3/4 to 1 cup of water. Do not over knead your dough. As soon as it comes together and it's smooth, stop kneading and cover and let it rest for about 10 minutes before using. If you're using more water, your dough should be sticky. More sticky than this. Sprinkle some flour to your work surface. Form a long log-like shape with your dough and cut into roughly equal sizes. Cut into 6 because we are using 6 eggs. If your dough is very sticky, you'll need to work with more flour. You'll first add flour to your hands before flattening your dough like this. Put in your egg and watch closely. Just watch the way I'm doing it. Do it this way. Make sure there are no holes. Do it tightly. Then pinch off the excess dough like this and cut it out. Then roll very well in your palms. This process is very important. If not well rolled, it might burst open while frying. I'll just repeat the process with the remaining dough. We are done rolling, and here is everything ready to be fried. Make sure to use a deep pan or pot for this. We want the oil to go above the egg rolls, that way it cooks better. Please fry on medium-low heat to get perfectly fried egg rolls. Make sure your oil isn't too hot, otherwise the egg rolls will be fried on the outside and uncooked on the inside. And don't overcrowd your pan or pot like I did. It's all ready now. Take out and put in a paper towel for the oil to strain out. Here is our very crunchy egg rolls. How do you like yours? Softer or crunchier? Let's cut this up and see how it looks on the inside. Soft on the inside and crunchy on the outside. I hope you try this recipe. It's so good. Hi guys, let's make these buttery, crusty, flaky, juicy meat pies, shall we? We're going to start with the fillings, then make the pie dough. Let's get started. To a pan, add in some oil. Go in with some onions and saute for about a minute. Add in chopped garlic and saute. Go in with your well-washed and minced beef and stir properly. Add a teaspoon of salt, crushed seasoning cubes, a bit of black pepper, some chopped Scotch bonnet pepper, some curry, this is quite optional, and stir. Stir properly till everything is well mixed. Then go in with chopped potatoes and carrots. Stir properly. Then add some water, enough water to cover our fillings. Cover the pan and let cook for about 10 minutes or till the potatoes are soft, just like this. Add some cornstarch slurry. It's a mixture of cornstarch and water. This serves as a thickener. Stir properly till there's no water left in your fillings, till it's thickened, just like this. Turn off the heat and transfer to a wide plate for it to cool down. While it's cooling down, let's make the pie dough. To a bowl, add 4 cups of sifted flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and mix properly. You're going to need 250 grams of cold butter. This is very cold and hard. I'm using this kind and I'll use all of it. Turn everything in and mix up. You might want to use a knife to cut the cold butter up into tiny cubes, that way it will be easier to work with. Make sure you mix properly to avoid big chunks of butter in your pie dough. It should look like this when you are done mixing, just like breadcrumbs. Next is to add very cold water. Cold butter and cold water is the secret to flaky and crusty pie dough. I measured 1 cup of water and I'm going to add it in bits till it all comes together. Please don't overmix this and don't pour the water all at once to prevent having a soggy pie dough. It's best to add your water in bits. So as your dough starts to come together, stop adding water. Don't overmix or knead. Mix it gently, the way you see me do. Just till it all comes together, just like this. Take out of the bowl, divide it into 2 and wrap with a plastic wrap. You can use a Ziploc bag. After wrapping, you are going to refrigerate it for about 30 minutes. Refrigerating your dough makes it easier for you to roll and use. Flour your work surface and roll your dough. You should roll this wide and thin, not too thin dough. Use something circular to cut. You can use any size of choice, but I'm using this size because I want my pies a bit big. After cutting, take out what's left. We'll roll this later. Brush the edges with flour and water mixture. It's basically 1 tablespoon of flour and water. Add the pie filling to the middle and cover this way. Use a fork to seal the edges. Doing this gives it this beautiful Nigerian pie look that we all know. Another way is by using a meat pie cutter, if you have one. Place your cut dough in the cutter, brush the edges with the paste. Add in your pie filling and cover tightly. Then take out the excess dough. Look how beautiful this looks. The pies are all done and I'll poke some holes in them using a fork. This will prevent them from bursting open in the oven and will give them room to breathe. We'll use an egg for the egg wash. You're going to glaze the top of the pies. This is the secret to the shine you see on meat pies. Egg wash. After brushing the top of our pies with egg wash, now it's time to bake. Our pies are all ready and well baked. This is what our pies look like. Smelled and tasted amazing. Look how juicy this looks. I really hope you do try this recipe. Thanks for watching. Next is samosa and spring rolls. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll take you through a detailed step-by-step guide on how to make your own crispy samosas and spring rolls in your home from scratch. I'll show you two methods of making the wraps. I'll also show you how to make both samosa and spring roll fillings, and lastly, how to fold your samosas and spring rolls. Let's get started. We'll start by making the samosa filling. Add some oil to your pan, saute some onions, add some garlic, and add your ground beef. Give it a very good stir. Make sure everything is well mixed. You can add ginger and any spice you'd like. Add salt, seasoning cubes, curry, thyme, black pepper, chopped pepper, and stir. Stir properly till well mixed. You can add whatever veggies you'd like. I'll be using just carrots. Stir for a bit and add some water to cook for a bit. Go in with cornstarch slurry. This is cornstarch mixed with water. It helps thicken your fillings. It should look like this. Take out of heat. Let's make the spring roll fillings. Add some oil. Saute some onions and garlic. Add some ground beef and stir. This is quite optional, but I like to add beef, chicken or fish to my spring roll fillings. Add salt, black pepper, some curry, thyme, seasoning cube, chopped pepper, and stir properly. Stir properly till well mixed, then add some soy sauce, mainly for color, and stir. There comes the main vegetable, cabbage. Cabbage is a must in spring rolls. You can add spring onions or other vegetables. I'll add grated carrots and stir fry for a few minutes. You don't want to overcook this. We don't want soggy fillings, so stir fry for a few minutes, then take out of heat. Transfer to a wide plate to cool down. This is our spring roll filling and this is our samosa filling. Let's make our wraps. This is the first method. Add 2 cups of flour to a bowl, half a teaspoon of salt, and mix properly till well mixed. Go ahead and add some water in bits. You add the water in bits till it all comes together. Keep adding water in bits till it forms a dough. In case you add in too much water, add a bit more flour to your dough and you'll be okay. Your dough should look like this, not stiff and not sticky. Cover to rest for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, it's gotten more stretchy and softer to touch, which is good because it will make rolling way easier. Flour your work surface and form a long log with your dough, just like this. Cut into tiny parts of roughly the same size. You can use a weighing scale if you have one for more exact measurements. I cut into 8 pieces. Form each piece into a small round ball. Roll in your palm like this to form a ball. I have a total of 8 small round balls. I'll put them into a bowl, sprinkle some flour so it doesn't stick. and cover it so that it doesn't get dry while I roll. Take one ball and flatten it using your rolling pin. Roll it a bit wider, not too wide because we will roll again. Roll like this. This is okay. Go ahead and roll the other 7 into this shape and size. We have them all rolled up. For the next step, you will need some oil and flour. Take one, use a brush and oil properly. Make sure you oil every part of this. Sprinkle some flour. This prevents them from sticking together because we are going to stack them up. Repeat the process. Add some oil and sprinkle some flour. Do that again. Since we have 8 sheets rolled out, we'll divide into 2. So we'll stack up 4 first and stack the remaining 4 after doing this one. So oil generously, then add some flour and stack the last one. Here we have the 4 sheets stacked up. Sprinkle some flour so it doesn't stick together, then roll wide and flat. Flip and continue to roll. When you're done rolling, it should look like this. You're going to repeat the process with the other 4 sheets. Here we have the 2 of them rolled flat. Transfer to your pan. You're going to spread it out. After about a minute, flip to the other side. I'm doing this so the heat touches all the edges and all the sides. This doesn't take too long. You just need a little heat to help the sheets separate from each other. See, it's already coming off easily, so it's time to take off the heat. Let's do the second one. Just repeat the same process as the first one. Flip. It's already puffing up, which means it's time to take out. So I'll just take this out. Here's our sheets. You need to be very gentle while separating them so that they don't tear apart. Very, very gentle. Had we not added enough oil and flour, this would have been tearing apart. It wouldn't have come up this easily. Here's our perfect sheets for both samosa and spring rolls. You can wrap them up in a towel to retain moisture and remain soft to prevent it from drying up before using. Trim the edges for a final wrap. This is our beautiful sheets ready to be used. Cut into 4 quarters. I'll first divide in half, then divide again. Our sheets are all ready now and perfect for use. You can store this in your freezer for weeks in Ziploc bags and it will still be fresh when you're ready to use it. Just make sure it has no contact with water. Let's do the second method of making the wraps. To a bowl, add in 2 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt and mix properly. Add some water. I use a total of 1 and about 3/4 cups of water for this. Don't add your water all at once, otherwise it will get lumpy. Add your water gently and mix properly till lump free, just like this. To a pan, use a brush to gently spread in your batter. Make sure there's no holes.
Make sure your butter covers the pan. If there's holes and you didn't spread your butter properly, your wraps might tear up or have holes. After spreading, put on the stove and heat up. Just let it do its thing like this. When it's completely done, then you take out gently. Another way is you can do it directly on the stove, but you have to use extremely low heat. You need to do this very fast. You need to be gentle and fast at the same time. Spread gently and fast. After spreading, then go ahead and increase the heat. Just let it do its thing. When it's done, take out gently and continue with the rest. Our sheets are all ready and it's time to cut them. You can use this for both samosa and spring rolls. One thing I noticed with this method is that it doesn't keep for as long as the first method. It's time to fold our samosas. This is the leftover batter from the liquid method. I left this so that I'll use it as a glue to seal up. So take one wrap. You're going to fold from the longer side. Fold this way. Add in some of this paste. Like so. And seal it. Go ahead and add in your samosa filling. Then add more paste and cover. There's our samosa. Our samosas are all done now. Let's wrap the spring rolls. So add some paste to the edges like this. Spread it all out. Then add the spring roll filling and fold it gently this way. Roll tightly but gently like this. Here we have our spring rolls and samosas ready to be fried. Heat up some oil and fry to your preference. You can use an air fryer for a more healthy option. So the samosas are all ready now and it's time to take out of the oil. After taking it out, fry the spring rolls. You can also use an air fryer for this.
Next is puff puff. This is a very famous Nigerian snack known as puff puff or panke. We all love puff puff. Let's get started with this fail-proof puff puff recipe. To a bowl, add 3 cups of flour, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of powdered milk, 1 tablespoon of yeast. I'm using instant dry yeast. Half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of nutmeg. You can use cinnamon if you'd prefer. Give it a proper mix. Make sure everything is very well combined. Next, add 1 cup of warm water and mix gently. Go in with half cup of water and continue to mix. You need to mix this very well. It's still very thick, so I'll go in with a 1/4 cup of water. You'll need to add the water in batches. Don't add everything up all at once. This consistency is okay. If you're using active yeast, you'll need to first activate your yeast in hot water, not hot enough to burn. Let it rest for 5 minutes and you see it's gotten frothy. That way you know it's ready to use. Please make sure to use a very good yeast. Yeast is very important while making puff puff. Go ahead and cover and let it sit in a warm place for 40 to 45 minutes. So it took just about 30 minutes and it's risen perfectly, almost pouring out, which is actually good. Look how soft and smoother it's gotten. A lot of people find it hard to get the perfect round shape for their puff puff. So use wet hands. My hands are wet. This is how to scoop. Like this, and you drop it in like this. Let's do it again. You scoop, you drop it in. It's not easy, but after a few tries, you'll get a hang of it. Now it's time to fry. Make sure your oil isn't too hot before frying. Fry on medium heat. If you drop your puff puff in and it sinks, that means your oil isn't hot enough. If you drop it in and after 5 to 10 seconds it floats in the oil, then you are doing great. But if you drop it in the oil and it turns brown immediately, then your oil is too hot and it will get burnt without actually being cooked on the inside. Go ahead and fry till it turns brown to your taste and take it out of the oil. Look at this perfect round shape. Perfect puff puff. If you follow this recipe, this is what your puff puff should look like. This is what it looks like on the inside. Nice, chewy, milky, and so delicious. I hope you try this recipe. It's so good. In this video, I'll show you how to make the fluffiest airy ring donut without a mixer. These are the ingredients I'll use for this recipe. Some flour, sugar, butter, eggs, milk, salt, and yeast. Keep watching and don't skip any part of this video while I show you how to make these yummy donuts. Let's get started. Start by measuring your well-sifted flour. Measure 3.5 cups accurately. Getting accurate measurement is very important, so make sure you measure accurately. This is the right way to measure. It should be well leveled like this. After measuring your flour, add in 1 tablespoon of yeast and about half a teaspoon of salt. Measure accurately 1/3 cup of sugar and mix properly till very well combined. After mixing, go in with 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine, add in 2 medium-sized eggs and milk. Measure in 1/2 cup of milk. You might want to substitute milk for water. Then mix all properly till very well mixed. Go in with your hands to make mixing better. If you find that your dough is a bit too stiff or too thick, feel free to add a few tablespoons of water or milk. Transfer to a work surface and knead. Here comes the work. Guys, you need to get ready because you're going to do this for up to 30 minutes or more till your dough gets really soft, stretchy and transparent. I'll show you what I mean. So guys, use your strength and knead properly. You need a lot of energy for this. At this point, you can see the dough is tearing up and not very stretchy. By the time we are done, you'll see the difference. So go ahead and knead. This is a very serious arm workout. So knead properly, guys. You need to knead this properly. It's been 30 minutes and guys, I'm sure you can see how the dough has changed. It's now stretchy. Knead a bit more. And look how smooth, soft and stretchy it's gotten. This is what your dough should look like. To further make sure your dough is ready, cut a piece, a small piece, stretch it out like this. If you can see through your dough, if it's transparent, then your dough is ready. But if you stretch it up and it's tearing up, you'll need to knead it a bit more. So the dough is all ready. I'll just roll it up this way and let it sit for about 5 minutes before rolling. After 5 minutes, this is the dough. It's gotten softer and more stretchy. Flour up your work surface and roll flat. Don't roll too thin, otherwise you'll end up with thin or flat donuts. Flip and keep rolling till you get it to be this thick. This thickness is okay. I'll use this donut cutter to cut. You can use 2 round shapes for this if you don't have a cutter. One large one for the main donut and the small one for the holes. Go ahead and cut them all up like this. After cutting, take out the extras and re-roll. Knead your leftover dough properly, re-roll and cut. You need to do this till you've exhausted all your dough. Sprinkle some flour on your tray and line up your dough. Please don't overcrowd them so that they'll have room to rise up. You can use a parchment paper or a baking paper for this. You cut your baking paper into small bits enough to take the donut. Sprinkle your flour and place your donut. After placing them, cover and leave in a warm place to rise for about 45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes and it's risen up and it's time to fry. Please fry on low heat. If you use high heat, your donut will be brown on the outside but uncooked on the inside, and we really want to avoid that. Fry for about 2 minutes on each side till it's as brown as you'd like and take out of the oil. all ready now, and I'll sugar coat them. Please do this while it's still hot. If you let it cool down before sugar coating, the sugar might not stick to the donut properly. You can coat this with powdered milk also, a mixture of powdered milk and sugar. So yummy. Moment of truth, look how soft this is. Guys, this tasted so amazing.
Next is chin chin.
Let's get started. To a bowl, add in 3 cups of sifted flour, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking powder. Add half a cup of sugar and half cup of powdered milk for a very milky chin chin. Use a whisk and give it a very good mix. Fam, I really appreciate the love I'm getting from my videos. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing. I truly appreciate you all. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of soft butter, and you're going to mix very well till all well combined. Just like this. In a separate bowl, crack an egg. Add about half a teaspoon of vanilla flavor. This is quite optional. Give it a very good whisk. Pour in the wet ingredient into the dry ingredients. Add in 1 cup of water and mix gently. This way. It might seem like it needs more water at first, but please don't add water. Keep on mixing and it will definitely come together. Just like this. This is how your dough should be, not too soft. Cover and let it sit for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it's gotten a bit softer, and now it's time to roll and cut. Flour up your work surface. Place your dough. Get your rolling pin and roll flat. Flip and keep rolling till you have about half an inch in thickness. We don't want it to be too flat and definitely not too thick. Trim the edges for a finer and neater chin chin. Or you can just cut without trimming. The trimmed part won't be thrown away, it will be re-rolled. Cut into thin and equal sizes gently. You want to cut this as equal as possible. Further, go ahead and cut into smaller sizes like this. You can literally cut your chin chin however you want. You can cut them in big sizes or small sizes. I think I'll make another video of chin chin in different sizes. I don't know. We want to cut as equal as possible so that we don't have some big sizes and other small sizes. Otherwise, while frying, the small ones will get burnt while the big ones might not be fried yet. Add some flour to the knife to make cutting easier without sticking to the knife. This is my best part of making chin chin. I love cutting it this way. It's actually fun for me. Plus, this part is not sped up at all. I'm actually a pro in cutting chin chin. This gives me so much joy, fam. You can sprinkle some flour on this so it doesn't stick together. I added lots of flour while rolling, so I don't need to sprinkle flour. It's not sticky. After cutting, gently transfer into a tray. Heat up some oil. Enough oil, fam. I threw one in to know if the oil is ready. It's frying now, which means it's ready. Transfer your cut chin chin into the oil. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. Stir immediately, don't stir for too long, otherwise it might scatter up in the oil.
After a few minutes, stir again. Okay, it's all brown now and it's time to take out of the oil. Immediately it gets brown like this, take the remaining out of the oil fast, otherwise they might just get burnt. When it starts to fry, when it starts to get brown, it really happens fast, so you need to be really fast while taking it out of the oil. Transfer the remaining into the oil, stir for a few seconds and fry till brown. Just like this. Then quickly take out of oil. After taking out of the oil, you're going to put it in a paper towel so that the remaining oil gets to be strained out. And here is our yummy, milky and crunchy chin chin. Let it cool down properly before storing or tying up or covering. Next is coated peanuts. I'll be using peanuts or groundnuts. This is raw. I'll use an egg, some flour, powdered milk, some sugar and some salt. I'm going to start by blanching my peanuts. I'll add some salt to the peanuts and go ahead with hot water. I'm going to let this sit for about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to strain. I'll then go ahead and spread on a tray. I'm going to dry this in the sun for a few hours till it's well dried. In a bowl, I'll add my flour, powdered milk and salt. I'll use a whisk to mix properly till everything is well mixed. In a separate bowl, I'll crack in an egg. I'll add my sugar and whisk properly. I'll whisk this properly till the sugar is well dissolved. For the list of measurements of everything I'm using, please check the description box. Our peanuts all dried now and it's time to coat. I'll first transfer my peanuts into a bowl. These are the ingredients for the coating. This is my blanched and well dried peanuts. This is the egg and sugar mixture. You can add vanilla to this. And this is the flour mixture. I'll start by adding 1 tablespoon of the liquid mixture. Then I'm going to shake really well. You need to shake this up properly, really well. You want the egg to touch all of the peanuts. I'll then go ahead with 1 tablespoon of the flour mixture and also shake. It will be better if you use a bowl with a cover or a lid. That way you can shake properly without spilling the peanuts. I'll repeat the process again. I'll add the liquid, mix properly, shake. I'll then go ahead with the flour mixture and do the same. You're going to need to do this till you exhaust both the egg mixture and the flour mixture. So I'll add in the egg again, shake, mix. Then the flour mixture, I'll shake and mix properly till everything is well combined. Keep repeating the process till you exhaust all your liquid mixture and the flour mixture. You'll find that some of the coated peanuts are sticking together. Use your hands and separate them, otherwise when fried it will come out this way, all joined together. So just separate them. I'll just throw in 1 coated peanut into the oil to see if the oil is hot enough. Well, it's hot enough and it's time to fry. You'll need to fry these on low to medium heat for about 5 minutes or till it turns brown.
Make sure you are not using high heat, otherwise it might get burnt really quickly. It's all ready now. I'll take it all out of the oil. It was so crunchy. Will you be trying this? Let me know in the comments below. Next is fish roll. In a pot, I'm going to add my fish. You can use any fish of choice, but I'm using this fish, although it has like bones, all those small bones. But guys, this is the perfect fish for fish roll because it's a very tasty fish. So I added Maggi seasoning cube and some salt. I added some water to cover and I let it boil for just about 5 minutes. You don't want it to overcook. It cooks really fast. So after that, I took it all out and I'm just deboning the fish. Guys, you need to be very careful while deboning this fish because it has all those tiny bones in the middle. After that, I just mashed it up. Yeah, you need to mash it up so that you don't have big chunks of fish inside. In a pan, I added some oil and went ahead with some onions and just sauteed this for about 2 to 3 minutes till it's turned brown and it released its flavor. I then went ahead with chopped garlic and I added some scotch bonnet pepper and just stirred for a bit. I then went ahead with a bit of curry powder and I added my fish. I then stirred this for a bit. You don't want to put too much spice in this because fish on its own has its own taste, so you don't want to overspice it, otherwise it will end up salty. So I just added a seasoning cube and a bit of salt and mix this together. Guys, you want to use a non-sticky pan for this so that your fish isn't going to get sticky. So it's all ready now, and the aroma, guys, I'm just going to transfer this into a wide plate for it to cool down for a bit. While it's cooling down, I'm going to go ahead and make my dough. So I'm sifting 2.5 cups of flour. I went ahead with 1.5 tablespoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt. I then went ahead with 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I used a whisk to mix this properly. You're going to need to mix this till everything is well combined. I went with 3 tablespoons of some butter. I went in with 1 egg and I'm adding some water. Guys, you need to add the water in bits. You don't want to put too much water, so I always add my water in bits. Then I'm just going to mix this till everything comes together. Mix properly, guys. You're going to get a bit of sticky consistency, but just keep kneading, just keep mixing, just keep kneading till it all comes together just this way. So this is what our dough should look like after you are done kneading. It should have this consistency. It should have a somewhat stretchy consistency. So after that, I'm just going to put it back in the bowl and cover it up and let it rest for about 15 minutes. So it's been 15 minutes and I'm just going to bring my dough out and I'm going to divide this in half. I'm going to show you 2 ways of making this fish roll, so let's use half for the first way. So I'm going to just flour the work surface and I'm going to cut this into smaller parts, into smaller chunks. After cutting it out, I'm going to just take one and I'm going to roll this. I'm going to add some flour so it doesn't get sticky, and I'm just going to roll this into this shape, thin long shape. You should roll it this way, long, not wide, guys. It should be long. I'm just going to use my brush and brush the edges, guys. I use some flour and I mix some flour with water just to serve as a glue to just seal it all up together. So I'm going to use my brush and just take some and add some of the glue to the edges, and I'm going to add the fish now. You don't want to put too much fish, guys, but just make sure it's enough. Don't be stingy with the fish, just put enough. So just watch as I'm rolling it, guys. I'm just going to roll it this way, guys. The edges, watch, just make sure you press it down so that it doesn't the fish doesn't puff and come out. So you're just going to keep rolling, guys. Roll it tightly, roll it tightly till it comes to the end, and just do it this way, the way I'm doing it. I'm just going to repeat the step again. Roll it, make sure you're rolling it long, not wide, otherwise your fish roll will end up being very long, and we don't want that. We're just going to roll it this way. Just roll it long like this. Use the brush to just brush the edges with my paste. I'm going to add the fish in, and I'm then going to fold. Watch properly. You're going to need to fold. As you're folding, you need to be sealing the edges, just pressing it down. Yeah, your dough should be stretchy like this. This is what we want. Look at our fish roll, looking all good. So we got about 7 out of the half. So we're going to roll the other half. I'm going to show you the other way of making the fish pie with the same dough. Right, this one is actually way easier than the first one. If you don't have time, you can just do this one. Just make one large dough, roll it flat, use the paste on the edges, rub the paste on the edges, and just add in your fish this way. Make sure you add in plenty fish because this one is a big one. Then you're going to roll, guys. You need to be very careful because it's stretchy, so you need to just follow it carefully, otherwise you're going to get a very funny shape. So you should just roll gently and carefully. So just roll it this way, carefully and gently. So I'm going to cut this into roughly the same size, and I got about 6 of this, and I'm just going to fry them all in hot oil. Guys, you don't want your oil to be too hot. Just fry them on medium heat because we want our fish pie to be well fried. We don't want a case whereby the outside will be fried and the inside will be half cooked. So guys, our fish rolls are all ready now. Look how shiny it looks, guys. This was so good and it smelled so amazing. So we're going to fry the other type. Guys, you can also bake them. This recipe can also do well with baking. You can also bake these ones. For a more healthier option, you can just bake them if you prefer them baked, and it's also going to turn out great. Guys, look at our fish. I couldn't just eat one. I had to eat and then eat more. Guys, if you've watched to this point and if you enjoyed the video and learned something from this video, do well to subscribe if you want to see more of this video. In this video, we're making bread buns. Here I have 4 cups of sifted flour, added 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a cup of sugar, half teaspoon of salt, and half teaspoon of nutmeg. Use a whisk to mix properly till everything is well combined. Go in with a 1/4 cup of salted butter. Use your hands to mix properly. It should look like this. It shouldn't be moldable. In another bowl, crack an egg. Go in with 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 cup of milk. You can substitute milk with water. Give it a proper mix. To the dry ingredients, make a well in the middle and go in with the wet ingredients and mix them all together. You can add your wet ingredients in bits so as to not end up with a too stiff dough or a wet dough. You're going to knead till smooth, then let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. After it's done resting, take it out of the bowl. It should feel softer to touch. Divide your dough into 2 halves and start working on the first half. Flour your work surface so that your dough doesn't stick to the work surface and start rolling. You're going to roll till it's about half an inch in thickness. Then further roll it into a long log, just as I'm doing. Brush the edges with some water or egg. I'm using water to brush the edges. Pinch it to proper seal so as to prevent it from busting open while frying. Flour your work surface and roll gently. Please don't press too hard on your dough, just stretch it gently. Flip and continue to roll gently. Be gentle on your dough, please. Trim the edges for a more neat look. You can decide to cut without trimming the edges, it's also okay. Cut into equal sizes. This is what it looks like. You should see these lines or patterns on your cut dough. This is what we have. In a pan, add some vegetable oil and fry. Please fry on medium-low heat so that it will be well fried, to avoid cases whereby the outside is cooked and the inside is not. Look how it's puffed up so beautifully. Fry on the other side and take it out of the oil. And there you have it, our yummy bread buns. Perfect for breakfast or just snacking. Great for your kids. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Look at the fluffiness of this masa. So soft and fluffy. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are making masa. This is also called waina. If you're interested in getting the perfect masa, keep watching and don't skip any part of this video, because every part of this video is essential for the perfect fail-proof masa. So let's get straight into the video. This is the rice you'll need for this recipe. If you're in Nigeria, it's called tuwo rice. It's a very white and short grain rice that is mainly used for tuwon shinkafa. In most cases, you find tiny bits of stones in your rice, so you need to pick out the stones so as to avoid biting stones while eating your masa. I'm using 3.5 cups of rice. After measuring, go ahead and soak your rice. If you plan on using your rice the next morning, you can soak it overnight and use it the next morning. I'll cover and let it soak for about 5 hours. Go ahead and measure half cup of the same rice. This is going to be cooked differently. That's a total of 4 cups of rice used for this recipe. It's been soaking for 5 hours and now it's time to properly wash. You know your rice is well soaked when it breaks this easily, just like this. Wash properly and blend. This is well washed and cleaned, and here is the half cup of rice I measured and cooked. Here I have the soaked rice, the cooked rice, some onions,
You need some yeast. This is 1 tablespoon of yeast and we are using all of it. It's time to blend. Add the soaked rice, the cooked rice, and our yeast into a blender. I use this yeast always and it's never failed me. Add some onions. Go in with warm water and blend till very smooth. For the perfect masa, you need a very smooth batter. Go ahead and transfer into a wide bowl after blending. If you have a large blender, you can blend it all at once. Mine is a small one, so I did it in batches. We are done blending and this is our batter. So smooth. If your batter is thick, go in with warm water. Your batter shouldn't be too thick or too runny. Mine was thick, so I added some warm water to loosen it up. Adding warm water is very important as it helps the yeast to activate faster. That way your batter rises quicker. Add a teaspoon of salt and half a cup of sugar and mix properly. You can decide to use 1/3 cup of sugar if you don't want it to taste a bit sweet. My kids love to eat it by itself without soup. That's why I use half cup of sugar. Cover and let it rise in a warm place for 45 minutes to an hour. It's been an hour and our batter has risen pretty well and it's time to fry. This is the pan you need to fry your masa. It's a special masa pan. You can get it in a cake store. Where you can get your pots, you can actually get it. Add some oil into the pan, just a bit of oil. Masa doesn't require too much oil to fry. Go ahead and add your masa batter gently. Cover for a minute or two, then open and flip. I'll use a spoon with a bit of oil to flip this so that it doesn't stick together, so that it doesn't get difficult to flip. Do this gently. Make sure to fry on medium heat. It's all ready now and it's time to take it all out. Look at our fluffy masa. So fluffy. I'll just repeat the process again. So good and so fluffy. There you have the perfect masa. Yeast is very important while making masa. Make sure you have a very good yeast. These were so fluffy and stayed fluffy till the next day. You can pair this with any soup of choice or any sauce of choice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.